Hi guys, we finally reached the very last hand-in number 4 for Monopoly and you're pretty much done. I know this picture is blurry, but I wanted to show you just a quick overview. Treat it as a Google map from the top of the earth that you're looking at. We need to close the books. And this is the way we did it in the exercises for homework and in the classroom. So for example, in the classroom, if you remember, we lined up all the revenues on the right side and then all the expenses on the left side. We've got income summary, capital, and then drawings at the very bottom. And we closed one by one. It will take you 4 journal entries maximum to close your books. But how would you do it in the Monopoly? Because these are only ledgers. So what would you do? You will go ahead and open up your ledgers, starting with the revenues, because those are the first accounts that need to be closed, and right away open up your journal as well. So you can even mark, if you would like, a special line that will say closing journal entries in the journal. The very first revenue that you could have will be your account 401 consulting revenue. So in this case, we have balance of $550 on the credit side. To close or to get the account to be a zero right here, I need to debit the account for the same amount, 550. And right away you will come back to your consulting to your journal, pardon me, yellow journal, and you will write it out right away. Right here it says consulting revenue 550. So this amount goes in here. So it's a debit to the ledger and it's a debit in the journal. So we've got the first one down. Go and scroll down to your next one. So we've got 402 rent revenue. The balance is $7,275, so I'm going to go ahead and close it or debit the account, and you will come to the journal again and write the same thing, $7,275. And you can go ahead and even put the references right away because we are posting to the green ledgers as we're doing the work. So we're doing the posting and the journalizing at the same time. You will keep going through all the revenues, all the credit balances that you can find. If you have 403, 404, 405, etc. Couple of tricky ones that you need to look out for. If you have a gain or loss, like in this case, I put gain or loss and it doesn't have a balance, but it could have had a credit balance. If it's a credit balance, it's your gain, and it could, in this case, you will need to include it as well, along with the rest of the revenues. These students had cash short and over, and it had a credit balance. If it's a credit balance, it's a revenue. Therefore, we needed to include it with the rest of the revenues. It's right here, $400. And it was debited, so all the debits are now listed up here. Make sure you've got through all of them. Go through the ledgers all the way to the end until you run out of pages. Then you want to make sure that all the revenues are closed. Your gigantic credit, one amount, will go to income summary. So you're going to get your calculator, add up all the balances that you just put in, and $7,966 will be posted to the ledger. So do you see how the arrow's flowing? I'm going from the revenue ledgers to the journal and then to the income summary ledger. Okay, so we've got the very first journal entry down that closes your revenues right here. Let's go through expenses. Expenses are being closed in the exact same fashion. I go to my 500s because those are expenses, and in this case, be careful, they're being credited because they have a normal debit balance. So what I decided to do in my yellow journal, I will write out a debit to income summary right here, but I will leave the amount blank for now. Why? I want to go ahead and credit all the expenses. There are a lot of them. So make sure, again, don't forget your cash short and over. If it has a debit balance, it works as an expense, and you will list it here. Or if you have a loss, it will have a debit balance. You will list it along with other expenses. So we came up with the amount of 7,666. So this amount is being posted right here. So we debit it in the journal, and then journal says income summary needs to be debited for $7,666. So I've got my total revenues on this side, and I've got my total expenses on this side. That's why it's called income summary. You can figure out the summary of your income. One word of caution, be careful. Please don't forget your references. So for example, this one, I posted it to the income summary. It's account 399. So you need to put a reference right here for 399. Let's go to the next one. Weekly expenses, journal entry number 3. We have to close income summary. So I'm looking at my income summary account. I've got total revenues, total expenses, and a balance goes on the heaviest side. So far I have a balance of $300 because my revenues are heavier. That means I've got net income. I want my account to be zero. To zero it out, I have to go on the debit side for $300, and you're gonna copy whatever the ledger did. The journal repeat the same. Debit income summary for $300. What's the other side? Everything is being closed to capital. That's why this $300 will have to go to capital. If you think about it, capital, when you credit, it will go up. And if this is my net income, so it's gonna be increased. Be careful, if you have a loss, your income summary will be kind of flipped. So your expenses will be heavier than revenues, and then this journal entry will be upside down. You will have to debit capital to reduce it, and you will credit your income summary. Okay, let's take a look at the fourth and the last one is your drawings. And I have to make this one up because this student probably was a lucky one. So the student did not have the drawings. Therefore, I came up and drew specifically a balance in the drawings right here. And to close it out to a zero, so I want it to be zero, I need to debit it for $50. I need to credit it for $50, and the debit will go to the capital. And you will go the same way to the journal and write it out. Copy what the ledgers will tell you. Here's your 1231 for the journal entry. It says debit capital, so capital goes in here for $50. You can put the reference. For me, it's very hard because it's hard to write with this pen. And then your drawings is credited. Drawings is credited for $50. And again, reference 302. This is the very last journal entry. With all the journal entries, don't forget, we always do an adjusted trial balance. Not an adjusted, a general trial balance. In this case, it will be post-closing trial balance. So you will have to go through every single ledger, green T account ledger, and see if a ledger has a balance. So you can see that I have balances for all of the accounts that are still open. Okay? It's not just capital. Anything that has a balance must be there. Cash, receivables, and you can see they didn't change. The only one from the adjusted journal entry that changed is your capital right here. It went up in this case due to net income and there was no drawings. And all my temporary accounts from here and down disappeared. So they have a zero ending balance right here. I drew it, you don't have to do it. So go ahead and save it in Excel, upload it to Moodle. Please don't forget to print it to make it easier for me to grade. Good luck, and you're done with Monopoly. Hooray for us.